This is the story about the mine and town of Total Wreck, Arizona. It was in 1879 that prospector John Dillon was out in the desert in southern Arizona that he happened to come across an outcropped ledge of quartz-bearing rock. This ledge outcrop was a real mess, with boulders strewn all over the place. When his brother Walter met up with him a couple days later, he asked him if he had any luck. To his reply, John said, "This place is a total wreck," and thus the future mine and town became known as Total Wreck. This mine and town never got overly big, but within a few years there were about 300 people living in the town and working in the mine. The town had a couple stores, 2 hotels, a blacksmith, a restaurant, and a post office. There were a few saloons, and the town even had its own brewery. There was also a deputy sheriff, and because this area had problems with native Indians, there was a group of about 90 men that could be called upon in the event of an Indian attack, which were common in that area back in those days. The Total Wreck mine was quite profitable, and it was top grade ore, all the way down to the 350-foot level. In fact, the mine contributed the largest and most valuable specimen of silver ore for the New Orleans Exposition. This silver sample weighed 30 pounds and was 75% silver, which was around $3,000 to the ton back then. By 1887, the mine had hit a new ore body about 350 feet down, whereas ACE averaged out $150 to the ton. The best years of production were before 1885, but the district is credited with more than $5 million in silver production. As with most Arizona mines, water was scarce, so water had to be hauled. There was a creek in the area that had water, but it was too far away to be of any use. However, about a mile or so away there was a small ranch where the mine was able to put a pump, and so water was pumped into a couple of large 50,000-gallon wooden water tanks. The town had issues throughout its history also. In 1883, there was a massacre when about 20 Apache Indians attacked some of the workers who were in the hills that were cutting timbers and firewood for the mine and town. There were about a half-dozen other men in another camp who heard the gunfire, but thought the other workers were just shooting turkeys or some other game, and the next thing they knew, there was a bunch of Apaches just outside their camp. One of these men managed to get out and made his way to another camp about 6 miles away that was close to Fort Huachuca, where there was a detachment of soldiers. The soldiers were then sent to protect the women and children at the town and camp. The next day, a group of about 30 well-armed men hit the trail, looking for this band of natives. They found one of the men shot dead, and once they got to the area where the others had been cutting wood, they found 3 more dead men. This attack was one of Geronimo's raids that the Apaches did, and it was a very somber day in the town, as 4 men were laid to rest. The town does have some good stories as well. It is said that a man by the name of E.B. Salsig was involved in a shootout with another man. He ended up getting shot when the bullet hit him in the chest, but he had a thick wad of love letters in his pocket, and those letters cushioned the blow of the bullet, saving his life. It is said that he did marry the lady who was sending him all those love letters. Today, very little remains of the old town and mine of Total Wreck. You can still get to the old mine site, and there are still a few old stone foundations that can be seen. I hope you enjoyed this short story about the mine and town of Total Wreck. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you more old lost mine stories.